Hey, you're all set to leave, right? Just waiting for the movers now. I see. Well, it'll be refreshing not to see your face anymore. Moreover, being forced to move out and having the locks changed meticulously so I can't ever enter the house again was over the top. I used to question the need for such measures, but now it seems trivial. When I first met my husband, he was a timid man, always wary of others' opinions. But soon after our marriage, he became a classic henpecked husband. And a week after I moved to my new place, my husband showed up, frantic.
Hey, it's me. Open up.
Huh? Who might you be? Pretending to be clueless in front of my frantic husband. I'm Scarlett, 35, working part-time 3 days a week. It's been 2 years since I married Anthony. We didn't have kids, but I thought we could still have a happy life together. In the early days of our marriage, we would spend nights discussing how we wanted to live our lives together. Both of us had little experience in love, so it was a bit tentative at first, but I think we enjoyed our time together.
Let's be one of those couples who stay close even as we get older.
Yes, I would like that. Maybe 2 kids?
I was thinking the same. A boy and a girl.
Me too. Such casual conversations were enjoyable. For me, who had little interest in love or marriage, meeting Anthony was a shock. We met at a party I attended just to make up numbers. He seemed to be there for the same reason, and we hit it off talking about our similar situations, eventually becoming friends. Back then, he was serious and somewhat timid, always considerate towards me, which I found endearing. And then, surprisingly,
Scarlett, I want you to marry me. I'll make sure you're happy. What? But we're not even dating yet? Oh, right.
I wasn't put off by his unexpected proposal, rather, I thought that maybe with him, it could work.
If I'm okay with you, then yes, I accept. Really? Of course.
I still remember how happy Anthony was when I accepted his proposal. I had no doubt that with Anthony, I could have a happy life ahead. We got married in just 3 months after meeting, a whirlwind for both of us. With little experience in love, we often didn't know what to do, but that was part of the fun. Soon after, we started living together, but about a month in, I began to see the difference between ideal and reality.
Scarlett, there's something I would like to ask you.
What is it? That day, Anthony looked different, more serious and tense. I hate to ask this, but can you quit your job and become a housewife?
What?
I was shocked by his sudden statement and couldn't understand why he would say such a thing. After all, he had never once commented on my job before. And this was just the beginning. Can I ask why? When I asked, he sighed before responding. When Scarlett works, it makes me feel like I'm not needed. Did someone tell you that? It's not that, but all the wives of married men in my company are housewives. I had expressed my desire to continue working when we got married, especially since saving money was important for our future. Still, I couldn't believe Anthony would bring this up now. But I did say I wanted to keep my job when we got married, right? I know, but as my wife, Scarlett, I wish you would consider my position. Then why not just pretend that I've quit? There's no need to actually leave my job. I repeatedly expressed my unwillingness to quit, but it seemed Anthony valued social appearance more. My attempts to persuade him seemed to fall on deaf ears.
Look, if things stay this way, I'll be ridiculed by my colleagues and superiors. I'm the head of this household, aren't I? Please, just do as I ask.
Either way, it's not something I can decide on the spot. Let me think about it. Okay, but please make it quick. Yet, I knew I couldn't let things stay this way for long. I feared what else he might say if I didn't act soon. So, I immediately consulted with my boss, Robinson. I had been working as an administrative assistant at this company since high school graduation. Robinson, in a way, had been in a similar situation. Her husband had been a henpecked husband, and unable to tolerate it, she divorced him. Now, she's a hard-working single mother whom I deeply respect.
That must be tough. I think divorce is an option, but it's difficult since you're newlyweds. Yes, I haven't considered that yet. But if you quit, it'll be hard to fill the gap left by Scarlett. I'm not planning on just quitting. I'd like to find a way to keep working if possible.
How about continuing in a part-time capacity for now? I think full-time would be too noticeable.
That's a good idea. I'll discuss it again with Anthony. If he still disagrees, then I'll follow Robinson's suggestion and ask to work part-time.
That sounds like a wise choice.
Always feel free to come to me for advice.
I'm here to help as your senior.
Thank you. I really appreciate it.
Our conversation continued, and it turned out Robinson's ex-husband also changed drastically after marriage. It was exactly like my current situation. I had never thought about it before, but now I realized that some men change completely after marriage, as if they become someone else. Looking at it another way, maybe I was deceived. Despite several discussions with Anthony, we remained at an impasse.
Anyway, a woman's job after marriage is to listen to her husband and take care of the home, right? What era are you living in? Nowadays, it's normal for both spouses to work. Maybe for other couples, but we are different. You understand that, right? I might, but I can't agree with it. Please, try to understand how I feel.
After that, Anthony kept nagging me daily until I would agree to quit my job. In the end, his attempts to persuade me failed. I contacted Robinson and decided to formally quit. However, in reality, I continued working part-time, 3 days a week. Thankfully, my boss understood my situation and allowed me to work reduced hours. I quit my job at the company, just like Anthony wanted.
Oh, really? Thank you. Now I can relax about my standing at work.
I'm glad to hear that. By this time, it seemed like all Anthony cared about was how he was perceived by others. I couldn't help but feel confused by his drastic change. I had lied to him, preferring that to worsening our relationship. But I soon realized that it was a mistake. I had hoped resetting our relationship would allow us to start afresh. Instead, he behaved as if it was natural for him to be superior and took it out on me.
Today, a junior colleague is coming over. I need you to host. What? I didn't know about this. Sorry, it was a last-minute decision. Just the basics will do. Please prepare. Wait a minute.
He hung up. So, I prepared drinks and snacks for the guest. But it seemed Anthony wasn't pleased.
Didn't I ask you to get things ready for today? But you said just the basics would be fine. You took that seriously. This will lower my reputation. I need you to act properly as my wife.
What's that supposed to mean? I did my best.
What? You have a problem with me?
No, not really. Anthony's face was unlike anything I had seen before. I was so shocked that I couldn't say anything more. After that, he began inviting people over almost every week. While he was having fun, he instructed me to stand by, ready for anything. I think he wanted to show off to everyone how capable a husband he was.
Anthony, I think having guests every week is a bit much.
No, it's fine. Everyone enjoys it, and you should follow my decisions. That's your duty as my wife, Scarlett.
But it costs money, too.
You'll manage it somehow. But Anthony's excesses showed no signs of stopping.
How am I supposed to manage it? Oh, stop nagging.
Whenever I asked a question he didn't like, he called it nagging and avoided answering. Waking up, preparing meals, making sandwiches for lunch, and getting his suit ready for the day. After seeing Anthony off, I would do household chores. On days with part-time work, I worked from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. There was hardly any time to rest. But I loved my job, and working felt more like a break than anything.
Scarlett, you seem tired lately, aren't you?
Yes, a little bit.
Really? Let me know if there's anything I can do to help.
Of course.
Thank you so much.
Sophia was a truly dependable person, unlike Anthony. She was concerned about how Anthony's treatment of me was getting worse day by day. Sophia knew I was working part-time in secret and kept it hidden from Anthony.
Thank you always, Sophia.
Don't mention it. But I never expected Anthony to act like this.
Neither did I. I have tried talking to him, but he doesn't listen, and we can hardly have a proper conversation anymore.
I'm sorry. If only I were stronger. Don't be hard on yourself. You're doing great with both work and housework. I really appreciate your help.
I'm glad to hear that.
Living with Sophia was nothing but a positive experience for me. But it seemed Anthony didn't like how close Sophia and I were. And because of that, he made an unthinkable move.
Where's Sophia?
Mom's gone now.
What do you mean gone? Mom's getting on in years, and I thought it'd be better for her to be in a facility. You actually put her in a home?
Yeah. Just finished moving her in. Now I can do whatever I want with the house. I couldn't believe this happened while I was at my parents' home. To think he would put his own mother in a facility. She was injured, but not to the extent that she needed to be in a facility. He must have sent Sophia away just so he could do as he pleased. When I visited Sophia in the facility center, she seemed surprisingly well. I'm sorry it came to this. No, it's not your fault, Sophia. I never thought he would go to such extremes. I'm afraid of what he might do if I oppose him. I'll miss Sophia, but I'll try to manage.
If you need anything, you're always welcome here.
Thank you. Afterward, we moved out of our current home and into my in-laws' house. Even though I managed the house, Anthony took it for granted and never showed gratitude. The idea of having children, which we had discussed early in our marriage, now seemed completely off the table. Anthony ignored me, preferring to spend his time out and about. Moreover, he started creating inexplicable rules out of nowhere. No matter how late Anthony came home, I had to stay awake waiting for him, and if I woke up later than him in the morning, he would get angry. What time will you be home today? I'm not sure, but stay up until I get back. Okay.
Thanks.
One day, after such an exchange, when Anthony came home, I noticed something. As I took his suit to hang it up, I smelled a fragrance I had never smelled before. It was a sweet, feminine scent, and since I don't wear perfume, it was clear evidence of an affair. Whenever he came home late, I would notice the same perfume scent. And that day, unusually, he suggested I could go to bed before him. Something felt off, so I quietly went to the living room to check and overheard their conversation. She has no idea. I'll kick her out soon enough. I could hear them clearly, perhaps because the woman's voice was loud. From their conversation, it seemed their relationship had been going on for a while. Although I wasn't surprised because of the perfume incident, I was disgusted. He was still technically Anthony. Even though I wanted to believe in him. His treatment of me never changed. It was approaching 2 years into our marriage. It's sudden, but I have a business trip the day after tomorrow. I need you to prepare everything for it.
That's really short notice.
I'll be gone for about 3 days. Please get my clothes ready.
Understood.
I can't believe he could come up with such a lie about a business trip. It wasn't a business trip, it was a trip with his mistress. I remembered a conversation I had with Anthony's colleague's wife when we met before.
Be careful if he suddenly says he has a business trip. Our company doesn't even have those.
I had also found evidence beforehand. I saw a chat on his mobile phone he had left in the living room, detailing how he took paid leave for this trip. This would be the beginning of the end for us. With proof of his affair, I planned to confront him with divorce papers when he returned. But it was my husband who made the first move.
Are you all set to leave? The movers will be here soon.
That was the first thing he said when he came home. He had told me to leave the house while he was away.
I need you to be out before I get back. What? What are you talking about all of a sudden?
Exactly what I said.
You can't just spring this on me and expect me to leave immediately.
Then I'll wait a bit, but get ready to leave. See ya. I never thought my once timid, overly concerned about others' opinions husband would turn into such a henpecked husband, but this was the last straw. The future I once imagined with him now seemed like a distant memory. Living with such a man, I couldn't see a bright future ahead. I wonder what will happen next. This might be interesting.
Hasn't the mover arrived yet? No need to rush. They should be here soon.
Oh, and I almost forgot to tell you, I'm changing the locks of the house. Okay. Got it. Thinking I won't have to see your face again is refreshing. I thought it was unbelievable that these were his final words to a wife he had lived with for nearly 2 years. Believing we would no longer be involved with each other, I quickly left the place. After that, I instructed my lawyer to send the divorce papers. Despite the situation, my husband was brazenly posting pictures with his mistress on social media. I wondered how he could be so foolish. How could he be so foolish, not realizing he was providing proof of his infidelity? Even our mutual friends, noticing his odd behavior, reached out to ask what was going on. After being forced out of the in-laws' house, I returned to my job, moving from part-time to full-time again. Furthermore, I moved into my long-aspired suburban high-rise apartment. It was quite spacious for one person, but without Anthony, it felt incredibly comfortable. I was just waiting for any contact from him, but about a month after moving into my new place, early one morning, my doorbell rang. When I checked the monitor, surprisingly, it was Anthony standing there.
Hey, it's me, Anthony. Open up, Scarlett.
His sudden demand to let him in was beyond presumptuous. I just couldn't understand him anymore. I decided to play dumb, thinking it might be more amusing than just turning him away. Who are you? I don't know you.
Don't tell me you've forgotten your husband's face.
I don't have a husband. I think you're talking about someone else. He looked desperate, almost on the verge of tears. It was the timid version of him from before we were married. Of course, I didn't let him in and continued to pretend he was a stranger.
Please, just listen. I've been deceived.
And
I need Scarlett's help.
I'm sorry, but I have no obligation to help. And if you keep bothering me, I'll call the police, okay?
Are you serious?
After all, I don't know you. Anthony probably thought he could rely on me to sort things out when he was in trouble. But the person I am now wouldn't do such a thing. Yet, I was losing my patience with my husband who refused to give up.
Enough is enough. You created this mess, so it's your responsibility to deal with it. You don't have to be so harsh.
What? Oh, and before yet, you can't live in your parents' house anymore.
What do you mean? Do you know whose name that house is in? No, but it used to be Sophia's, but now it's in my name. Why?
I explained to Anthony why things had come to this. Anthony told me to leave. I had gone to consult with Sophia. When I told her, even Sophia was visibly angry and dismayed.
I can't believe my son turned out to be such a fool. I'm really sorry it turned out this way after all the help you've given me, Sophia.
You're divorcing Anthony, right?
Yes. That's for the best. Then, I'll transfer the house to you, Scarlett. What?
Thus, Sophia transferred the rights to the in-laws' house to me. Unbeknownst to Anthony, he was living with his mistress while all this was happening.
That's the situation. Understand and leave quickly. We probably won't see each other again anyway. Just one last thing. If you keep this up, I will really call the police.
With that, he finally gave up and left. Of course, the divorce went through, and I claimed the divorce settlement guarantee from him. Turns out, Anthony had been significantly deceived and financially drained by his mistress. On top of that, the divorce settlement amounted to around $20,000. His mistress had quickly left him, but I wasn't going to let it slide. I used a lawyer and a detective to track down the location. I'm also claiming a divorce settlement guarantee from that person. It looks like I can claim over $10,000. Additionally, the in-laws' house officially became mine. I had to ask Anthony to leave, and though he was initially reluctant, he had no choice but to accept due to the legal procedures. I don't know where he lives now and frankly, don't care. The photos he uploaded with his mistress on social media were also discovered by his company. Due to his past pretenses of living beyond his means, he couldn't endure the criticism and chose to resign voluntarily. That seemed like an inevitable outcome, considering his true nature. If I were to say one last thing, it would be this. Don't mind. I'm divorced now, but I see it as a learning experience and choose to look forward positively. My relationship with Sophia continues to this day. I plan to focus on my career without relying on a man, and enjoy my life as a single individual.
Agriculture, huh? Sounds poor. Just completely mismatched with our family.
My future mother-in-law said to me during a family meeting. I was well aware that my fiancé was the heir to a prestigious company, and I thought I understood what it meant to become his wife, how challenging it could be. But the words of my future mother-in-law were more cutting than I expected. She looked down upon my grandparents, who raised me, as mere country farmers. The arrogant future mother-in-law always stayed true to herself. This did not change even during the family meeting we had with my grandpa. However,
Emily, haven't you realized?
The shocking past revealed by my future father-in-law. Hearing this, the pride of my future mother-in-law was shattered. My life has been a whirlwind in the first half. Now as an adult, I sometimes feel that way. My name is Serena, I'm 27. As a child, after losing my parents one after the other, my grandparents raised me. My dad passed away from illness in my first year, and my mom suddenly disappeared in a car accident when I was in 4th grade. I somewhat understood my dad's death because others told me, but I fully comprehended my mom's. Perhaps due to the difference in my age, I had somehow moved on from my dad's death. But accepting my mom's took much longer. Supported by my grandparents, I believe I've overcome the sadness of being without my parents as I grew up. And they gave me unlimited love. To ensure I didn't struggle, they put me through college, always prioritizing me. I'm currently working as a professional in a company. In this industry-leading and long-established company, there are various people. But I never imagined I'd meet the president's son, let alone date him.
Serena, would you date me?
Tyler was one of the employees seconded from a subsidiary to the head office. Only a few people in the company knew Tyler was the president's son. I didn't know until Tyler and I started dating and he confided in me.
Dad said to work at the head office, but I wanted to see every part of the company for the future.
Really?
I believe in the necessity of starting from the bottom, even if it's not quite apprenticeship.
Tyler and I participated in various projects together. He always worked more earnestly than anyone, taking on even the smallest tasks. When needed, he could lead and inspire the team. So kind, yet strong and dependable.
Marry me.
On our second anniversary. At the aquarium, our first date spot, Tyler knelt down and proposed to me. It was a classic proposal.
I'd be honored.
With happiness and a bit of shyness, I accepted his proposal. When I told my grandparents, they cried with joy.
Serena is getting a family again.
It's like gaining another grandchild. My grandparents were looking forward to meeting Tyler. Having the family grow seemed like their greatest joy. I lost my parents, but my grandparents had lost their child. Our home lost its liveliness, and all of us tried unconsciously not to be weighed down by sorrow. For our family, my marriage was a very bright topic. I planned to bring Tyler home to meet my grandparents soon, but first, we had a family meeting with Tyler's family. Tyler's parents' home is, in essence, the president's house. That alone made me nervous. Moreover, the house we visited was magnificent from the entrance, and the interior was spacious and beautiful.
Nice to meet you. I'm Serena. Oh, so you're the one. Serena, is it?
Emily, my future mother-in-law, was cold from the beginning. Or rather, she had no intention of welcoming me in the first place. Emily is the president's wife. Going back in time, she was also a president's daughter. As Tyler told me, our company was originally founded by Emily's ancestors, and her grandfather and father had been presidents in succession. Tyler's dad, Kent, the current president, took over the company.
I'll do my best too. But in our house, Mom's dominance always prevails. Dad and I are overshadowed at home.
Tyler had hinted at Emily's nature beforehand, but the real thing was more impactful. Emily eloquently spoke about her family history. How she was raised in a distinguished family, maintaining her dignity. And how much effort she put into Tyler's education as a mother.
Tyler attended the same elite school as me and our entire family. Yes. Not just yes, Serena. Do you understand what that means?
Hey, Emily.
Kent, be quiet.
Shrugging off Kent's attempt to calm her, Emily glared at me.
Do you understand the value of the school that Tyler and I attended, Serena? The kind of privileged people who should attend there? What do you think? Mom!
Tyler also stood up, leaning towards Emily. But Emily, unfazed, turned her criticism towards Tyler.
Tyler, you had such a wonderful environment and connections. How could you choose someone like her as a marriage partner? Hey, that's rude to Serena.
Rude?
Tyler, I'm disappointed. After everything we've given you. Enough about the house, the family, please. Yes, it's supposed to be a happy occasion. You all be quiet.
What was supposed to be a meeting for the upcoming marriage turned into a family argument. I couldn't intervene, and in the end, Kent somehow managed to calm Emily down. On our way out, Kent desperately apologized to me. It's okay. I'm sorry for troubling you today.
No, it's not your fault. It's our fault.
The disappointment I felt seemed less than the shock Tyler and Kent experienced. Kent approved of the marriage, but Emily only reluctantly accepted it, not welcoming me. Whenever I joined family meals as a fiancé, Emily would sigh and express her discontent. Once, she asked about my family. I told her the truth, not hiding anything. How I lost my parents early and was raised by my grandparents. How we overcame sadness together, the three of us, supporting each other. How my grandparents worked hard in agriculture so I wouldn't have to struggle.
I am nothing but grateful to my grandparents. I believe my parents are watching over us, But the love I received from my grandparents who were actually there for me, I still remember it strongly.
I conveyed my feelings. The rest was up to how Emily felt about it. I hoped she would understand, even a little, but I was naive.
Agriculture, huh? Sounds poor. Just completely mismatched with our family. Mom, how could you say such a thing? That's right. Emily, how far will you go in belittling people? Belittle? I'm just telling the truth.
Emily and Kent argued as they used to. Kent apologized to me while scolding Emily. But that wouldn't make Emily back down. The meal ended in a heavy atmosphere. Serena, if you're fed up, you can leave me. Marrying me means dealing with Emily. I can't cut ties with her because of the company. Think about it while you still can. Hearing Emily mock my grandparents and seeing Tyler with such a tired, dark expression left me at a loss for words. But I managed to respond.
It's okay. I feel sorry for Grandpa and Grandma, but I'm fine with this.
Really? Tyler and I continued to encourage each other as we moved towards our marriage. I knew we had to meet with Grandpa and Grandma soon, but I wasn't looking forward to it. What should I do? As I thought about this on my way home, my face must have shown my distress. What's wrong? Why such a gloomy face? Did something happen with Tyler? Grandma saw right through me, and I had no choice but to open up about everything. I told them about Emily's personality and what she said about me and my grandparents, leaving them in silence. Well, I suppose we should meet them once. Let's have a dinner soon. Grandpa finally spoke up. He instructed me to arrange the time. But he insisted on a high-end restaurant. I was puzzled, but Grandpa just laughed.
Don't worry, I'll pay for the meal.
That's all Grandpa said in the end. On the day of the dinner, Grandpa arrived alone. Grandma, shocked by Emily's behavior, refused to meet her. Grandpa and I waited for Tyler and his parents, but Tyler messaged that he and Kent would be late. That meant Grandpa and I would have to deal with Emily first. Just the thought gave me a headache. As I held my head, Emily arrived, greeted us curtly, and sat down. She looked at me and Grandpa with a very displeased expression.
You didn't have to match our family with a high-end restaurant. A lower-class place would have sufficed. No. It would be rude to meet for the first time in such a place. Oh, I made you worry. But I wonder how long you can keep this up. It's harsh to expect such standards from country farmers. Well, we prioritize living a healthy and honest life over money.
Grandpa faced Emily calmly and firmly, without changing his attitude or behavior. Emily seemed displeased and spat out sarcastic comments and irritation towards Grandpa.
Sorry for keeping you waiting.
Tyler finally showed up. Kent followed him. Kent started to say something but stopped when he locked eyes with Grandpa.
Hey, you two. Why apologize to these people? If we make them wait, that's how it should be treated. Hey, Emily.
Kent's lips trembled, and his face turned pale with cold sweat.
What now? Another opinion from you? No. Emily, don't you realize?
As Tyler and I watched in surprise, Kent deeply bowed to Grandpa.
Chairman, I deeply apologize for my wife's numerous rudeness. Please forgive us. No need, Chairman is a title from the past. President, today's not about that. What? What is it? Quiet. It's not what? This man was once the chairman of a corporation that saved our company from a crisis. Huh? What? I didn't know that. Emily has always been a haughty lady.
Kent remembered calling Grandpa chairman, but Grandpa had once managed several companies. By the time I was a child, he had become a farmer, and according to Grandma, he had wanted to retire early from being a businessman. I had no idea how significant a businessman Grandpa had been. But according to Kent, Grandpa was a wealthy and well-known chairman of a famous company. Back then, the company I work for was on the brink of bankruptcy under Emily's father's presidency. With no hope for a loan from the bank, the company was saved by Grandpa's company, where he was the chairman and also a business partner. Emily turned pale and stiffened at Kent's words.
Let's have a pleasant dinner today, as a start to our future relationship.
With Grandpa's smile and words, the tense dinner began. We ate cheerfully, without showing any irritation. Tyler and Kent seemed a bit dazed, but occasionally smiled and chatted with Grandpa. Emily, however, kept her head down and barely moved her hands. The wedding preparations accelerated after the dinner. We set the wedding date and planned the ceremony and reception. Marrying a company heir was more challenging than I thought. Emily was completely left out of the loop. After making a big mistake at the dinner, she seemed to have lost all her usual boldness. She was restless and awkward around me. When asked for her opinion in wedding discussions, she just shook her head. It was unimaginable she would ever be as aggressive as before. Emily. I have something to discuss. As I spoke, Emily tried to leave.
Wait, please. I'd like your advice on the dress design, color, and venue decoration.
It would be wrong for me to give my opinion. Emily looked down, feeling worthless.
That's not true. You're familiar with dresses and know about glamorous things.
That's no longer useful.
No, it's important to me. I want to talk about such things with you, Emily. I can't with my mom anymore.
I had given up on doing things with Mom a long time ago. It was the path I had to live, and there was nothing I could do about it, even if I hated it. But deep down, I had always hoped for it. A wish I never shared with Grandpa and Grandma. I knew it would only trouble them. But I could confide in Emily. Even with everything that had happened, she would become Mom when I married Tyler. I needed to face her properly first. I'm sorry. I never tried to understand your situation, Serena. Emily apologized with tears in her eyes. I silently nodded, taking her hand. Emily chose a beautiful red dress for me.
Serena, a softer shade suits you better than a dark red.
Emily, who knew about flowers, helped with the reception venue decoration. Tyler and Kent looked on happily as I, the planner, and Emily gathered together to discuss. I'm ready to live with my new family. Including my own life, I want to build happiness.